the ones of the weaver I've talked about, they will check through their offenses which are have strict penalties, and then the offenses where the commission has latitude and discretion to determine which offense, which penalty they will levy, which of course depends on the gravity of the offense that has been committed. If someone, for example, we are handling a case where someone brought a consignment and he declared one block machine of 5 tons and all the rest 16 tons of garments he has not declared. And when you check the taxes, they are over 100 million. Now, you can't compare that offense with someone who has declared, say, 1,000 pieces of shoes, and then we find 50 pieces more. Definitely the human sense and reasonableness comes into play, that one can be cautioned, or we can give a very small fine, a warning, and then on the other one, we can give a fine that is also proximate to what you have committed. So we promise fairness for those who are having waivers, rather who are not eligible for waivers, but most of them who have cargo that people have been complaining about that was delayed, still not by customs, by the way, by container leaders, who when we rolled out decided to disappear. The authority decided that, you know, let us still be client-centric, let it be waived, and we have people come. So those in that category, please, you are enjoined and advised to come and clear your items without levies.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that explanation. Mr. Imewaruku, there is Roger here who seems to be still complaining about some verification officers taking time to upload VAs after verification. If you can quickly comment on that.
Thank you, Nicholas and Anonymous. Now, the verification is a process. And because it's a process where all parties are involved, apparently you realize that with our BIMS process at play, whereby when verification of goods is done and reconciliation is done, the first person to upload the findings in the BIMS process or the tally sheet is actually the bond keeper or the operator. And then thereafter, it gets to come to now our bond verification officer, who also inputs their part. Then the agent accepts those findings. After accepting, that's when ultimately our bond in charge now proceeds to do the final verification trigger in the BIMS. Now, that's a process involving in around 3 parties. So sometimes we can have a verification officer when he has finished verification, even reconciliation is done, but then the bond keeper could be the one delaying to uploading the findings. That's why it's important to make sure that we follow through this process of conducting the physical verification and uploading these findings as all parties, because essentially when verification is done, back end this way, the client will think and assume it's the officer who is delaying. And sometimes we have some unethical agents or declarants who will keep telling this trader that no, the officer is not around or the officer has not uploaded, when actually in essence it is them who have not accepted this findings. So my appeal here is that please follow through to make sure every party plays their part. If verification is done, let's quickly finish the reconciliation and then have the bond keeper upload. The agent also accepts their part when the officer has uploaded. Then the entry is routed, and that will solve all the would-be delays.
Yeah, thank you so much. The last question I will take, I will direct it to Henry. There is someone here who asked about the qualifications for one to operate a bonded warehouse? If you can maybe briefly guide them.
Well, thank you, Nicholas. Well, that's an interesting and broad question. For someone to operate a bonded warehouse, first of all, in general terms, the qualification is that you should be able to fulfill the conditions to operate a bonded warehouse.
Yes.
And we have various bonded warehouses which have different conditions. For example, in the broader category, we have a public bonded warehouse, which can either be for general goods or for motor vehicles. The other one is a private bonded warehouse, which also can be for motor vehicles or for general goods. And of course, we also have factory bonded warehouses for people who run factories and they wish to operate the facility so that they can manage their cash flows, but at the same time have cargo stored in their premises. So each one of these has different conditions, and of course, the one with more conditions is the public general, because by its essence, it is supposed to admit goods for various importers. Whereas for private, me as Henry, the bonded warehouse will be under my team, and therefore, whatever is admitted to that warehouse belongs to me. I'm the owner. So all you need is that you approach our office. We shall give you the conditions, but the conditions look at the structural requirements, the security requirements, and the regulatory requirements. For example, just to run through very fast, the structural requirements or infrastructure requirements will cover that you have a designated place, you own the place, and the ownership comes in form of either you have a lease agreement, or you have a title, or you have we call it a tenancy agreement. And that agreement has to stretch for a period of a year, because we run a license that is annual from 1st January to 31st December. So that is very critical. And then the security systems that we install in the warehouse to ensure that cargo is safe and secure. And then the other aspect, you have to provide for an office, and you put computers, tools of work that will be used by our officers. Still, if it's a general goods warehouse, in line of tools of work, you are still required to have your own craneage equipment, services, lifting and loading cranes, and then they call it wheel load. They call what? The forklifts, and then you must have the tools to weigh, the weigh bridge, and then you must have the weighing scales for this cargo that is being verified. You must have verification bays. So precisely, you can even move around in these bonded warehouses and see what they have. And then, in addition to what we shall give you in the specific requirements, you are able to know. But in terms of regulation, we require you to have, for example, a tax clearance, because for you to operate, you must be compliant as a taxpayer. In other words, we need a tax clearance certificate, just like any other contract in government. For you to go and be allowed to bid, they will tell you that the conditions of you offering, competing in this, you must be with a tax clearance certificate. So it's the same thing with us. If your premises are under, for example, restricted areas, and some of those restricted areas are, for example, areas that are under high power voltage. Because I know sometimes people ask, but we find motor vehicles lying under high voltage lines. Our requirement is that you must get regulatory clearance from a government authority that is in charge. So the other bit along that line is that we don't want to license your premise and then a city authority or town council comes and says that in our planning, in our city plans, that area is a residential. It's not for warehouses. So you have to get regulatory clearance. So in summary, there are infrastructure requirements, there are regulatory clearance requirements that you must fulfill, and then there are security requirements that will enable us to all have that. And once you are ready, you approach us, we give you login credentials, you lodge an application in a designated automated form, and you'll be able to do a self-assessment. By the time you're done with the system self-assessment, you actually tick and say, my premise complies. I have this, I don't have this. By the time you are done, if you're honest, you actually know whether you comply or you don't comply. And if you don't comply, you retreat to address issues where you don't comply. And if you comply, you submit. When you submit, we shall come and check. If you comply, we shall approve. And if we approve, you pay licensing fees. If you pay licensing fees, the process continues. You execute what we call a customs bond number 6, which is intended to secure the cargo that you will be holding. And the rest becomes history.
Yeah,
That's
thank you
exactly.
so much. Thank you so much. That's quite a good answer you've provided for that question, because it was very broad. Now we've come to the end. I'm now going to ask my experts to give us their final messages to the people who are viewing. And I will start with you, Ime. You give us your final message.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Nicholas. To our dear viewers out there, we thank you for tuning in, watching us, and those who are listening. My parting call is that groupage cargo clearance or consolidated cargo clearance is here to stay. And like you have noted, over time, it has gone on increasing with many traders coming on board. So as they come on board to clear their goods under that consolidated cargo clearance, all players, all of us, as URA is trying to do their part to make sure they step up efforts on the staffing levels, but also the other parties like the consolidators and then also the operators. We urge you to also step up efforts, especially on the human resources, staffing. Make sure they also stepped up to support the clearance process. But most importantly, to our traders out there, make sure you trade or relate with legitimate people. If these consolidators have approached you, you have given them their goods to consign them and they bring, please endeavor to at least require to know which container number have they put your goods. That will enable you to track it down all the way as it comes through to our bonded warehouses clearances, or where you experience any delays, you are able to follow up. And also consolidators, those groups which you create to keep these traders informed, please let the field personnel or your representatives who participate directly in physical verification be party in those groups and constantly keep updating those traders on the statuses of clearances of this container, so that they keep informed to know at what stage has the issue reached. If there are non-compliance issues, they communicate, and that way we collaborate and quickly coordinate to ease the process. Otherwise, we are open and we welcome everybody who has any issues. Please reach out to us. We will be able to support you and make sure you benefit in the clearance of these goods under cargo consolidation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ime. Mr. Kwarigonza, you are parting shot.
Thank you, Nicholas, for getting this show. To our viewers out there, I once again thank you for creating time for this. My last parting shots are, if as a country we are to grow our tax to GDP ratio to the desired above 20%, there are things that we must do. And these are things that we are supposed to do together. We are in this together. We want a transparent tax system. The new clearance of groupage cargo that we have rolled out is intended to achieve transparency is intended to achieve fairness, is intended to achieve visibility in the interest of the tax authority, visibility in the interest of the trader for their cargo. And I really thank those who have embraced it. As I talk, I checked on the dashboard since we rolled out, we have cleared over 6,000 house bills. And I thank those who have really embraced it, and those who are yet to embrace, please, the opportunity is still open for you. There is a lot for you to gain from. Where we have not been so nice or perfect in the system, it's still a journey, and we want to journey with you. We want ideas on improving it. Like I have said, we are in this together. There are responsibilities for URL, there are responsibilities for the consolidator, there are responsibilities for the individual importer. Until all of us do what we are supposed to do, we shall be able to make the system work. I encourage the traders to furnish the correct documentation, transactional documents, because it all begins from there. There will be no delays if they declare the right documents. Actually, customs clearance processes will be shortened. In case of any challenge, my number out there is 0772 141 106. It's a corporate line. You can send me messages. You can also reach me out. I'll be able to click. Like I also said, reach out to us through our Twitter, our media, other media platforms, our Twitter handle. The touch point, we have a URL touch point, an online platform where you can register your complaint, where you can register your inquiry. It will be cascaded to the responsible centers. For all of you, thank you for creating time, and have a blessed day. And maybe I can't go out there without thanking you for paying your taxes. Thank you for paying your taxes. We shall be able to develop our country because of that. I encourage all of you to actually partake this noble role. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, our viewers. Thank you so much who have been tuning in. Thank you so much. This has been Customs 101 webinar, and today we've been looking at clearance of groupage cargo. My name is Nicholas Aroho. I've been your host, and I've been hosting two experts, Mr. Henry Kwargonza, who is the manager for warehousing, and Mr. Imi Waruku, who is the supervisor for warehousing. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we